Okay, so firstly we had our hype shorts, which we identified this zone up here, this big resistance zone, which, yeah, I mean, it played out very well. We took our first take profit around 41, around the channel midline, and then it bounced very nicely off the golden pocket. I am still expecting us to eventually find our way down here to this support zone. I'll probably look for along. We have our monthly pivot, we have our yearly pivot, bottom of channel around here. But for the moment, we seem to be targeting around this area. We'll need to see if we reject again. But of course, we have our stop loss at break even. So, I mean, if we go back up here, it's fine. I mean, we hit things like 80%. So, yet again, very good trade. And then, yeah, that was our main trade this week. Bitcoin's been very interesting at the moment. Of course, we broke out of this large channel and now we are in this uptrend. My order flow indicators being very accurate, as you can see, with these local highs. And of course, did one here as well. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still expecting us to head higher. I do think this move is getting a bit overexhausted. I mean, look, we're starting to see 4-hour bearish divergence, 12-hour bearish divergence. Could have another drive up to like monthly R3 or weekly R3. This resistance zone up here, where I'll probably look for a short-term short down to maybe the midline, or depending what the fibs are looking like, maybe a 0.382, maybe a short-term golden pocket before heading higher up until our resistance zone out here. So it would very much be like a move up, down, then up here for a longer term short, down to probably like 50k or so. But ETH is looking very interesting as well. It bounced very nicely off its 0.382 fib level, and then its weekly pivot the other day, actually today. And yet again with ETH, I'm expecting us to go higher. It does also look slightly exhausted, but I mean, its exhaustion is bearish divergence has played out, sort of reset a bit. This move here was also, I mean, I was expecting retracement as well because this indicator's been very accurate. In general, when the order flow and the CVD are close to oversold on this RSI, I tend to expect us to have a retracement back down. But with ETH, I'm expecting us to head higher. And then I want to see this zone here, monthly R3, weekly R3, see how things react. It may take some time to get up there, but when we do, maybe a short-term short, then up until this big resistance zone here, or maybe even this golden pocket. But this is the main resistance zone. Weekly 0.382 and yearly pivot. And then Tau, I'm sure you lot know by now, I love Tau. It's one of my main tokens I trade. Of course, we had this short all the way down here. Bounced very nice just before our zone. But yeah, I mean, could still potentially catch a long if it goes down into the zone. But I'm more looking for a short, as in I want to see how it reacts around this zone here, around weekly R3, monthly pivot 0.382, this zone here. Maybe see a rejection for a short-term short, or we work our way up until around here, which would probably be a very good resistance zone at that point. We'd have top of channel, golden pocket, plus yearly pivot. So look for a short there, following this channel trend downwards. Then we have Sol, which has also been very interesting. With most tokens, I'm expecting higher. With SOL as well, I'm expecting higher. We bounced straight off this golden pocket, weekly pivot. I was looking at this zone in general. I want to see a bit lower because I want to see bottom of channel, probably 0.786. Didn't quite get there, so I didn't take a trade. But yeah, I mean, golden pockets are being respected on every token. If you don't already, I would highly recommend having them, or at least using them. And then we have PENGU. PENGU is looking very good. I'm looking to short it. I think it was Ahmed took a short, posted it in chart analysis, then I had a look at the token. And then yeah, I think it would be good for a short in the near future. We're starting to see we are seeing this 4-hour bearish divergence. I'd want to see around monthly R3 before I decide to take any short, because with risky tokens like these, they can always just keep on heading higher. So I prefer to have a strong resistance zone if I am going to short it. So monthly R3, they probably reject down, take profits at the different levels on the channel, target weekly, monthly pivot, which will be a good support zone for maybe a potential long. Like let's say it's all the way in the future over here, we bottom of channel as well. So I have a continue the trend upwards. TRX was also looking, yeah, I mean, this zone here, I'm watching. We're not, I mean, we're not near there yet, but when we do get up there, I will be looking for probably a short around the yearly R1, monthly R3. This is a strong zone here. But at the moment, we are still battling in this channel, going higher. I expect us to continue going higher up until this zone, and then probably reject down, find the yearly pivot down here. So reject, down our channel, retest it, down into here. Then render, also another token I do like to watch. Of course, we identified this zone 2 streams ago, rejected. Identified this zone last stream, bounced. I'm still expecting us to go higher. I mean, this is close enough to the bottom of the channel for me to count it as what this zone's played out. And it was a very good zone. 0.382 week monthly pivot, weekly S1, bottom of channel. Yeah, we are accepting above the weekly pivot. So I'll probably see us going higher, and then we can use pivots for our targets. So yeah, probably look, well, there we go, we rejected off the 0.382 here perfectly, actually. Yeah, look at that. Probably find a way up into the golden pocket. Probably continue this trend up. But you see, this is the main thing with trading, and especially with my side of trading. It's about finding the key zones, key resistance or support zones, and then seeing how they play out. So if you see like a divergence into a zone, like for example here, we saw a 1 hour divergence. I would take a long here, have a stop loss below the lows, so around here. See, below these wicks around here, below monthly pivot, and then target different fib levels. Trading is pretty simple when you break it down. You don't need any complicated strategy. You just need to find the things that work, and then yeah, just use them to your advantage. Look at more tokens to find more opportunities instead of trying to be more complex with your strategy. XPL has been interesting as well. This is a token I would probably want to stay clear of. Looking at the order flow data, I think we may have a bounce around weekly S2, 0.786, bottom of channel. Head higher for a little bit, before probably breaking down out of this channel. Especially with low cap tokens like this, they have their move and then they fade out pretty quickly. And with XBL, especially looking at this downward momentum, I'm expecting the same thing. Us to bounce, down, breakout, retest, head lower. I mean, maybe if you want, could look for a long around monthly S3, yearly S1. But by the time we're there, it probably won't be monthly S3 anymore. And those were all the main tokens I wanted to show. And as always, if you want me to go over any tokens, let me know. Actually, there are a couple more. Gold broke out of his channel. Yeah. Broke down out of his channel, retested it. It looks to be heading lower. Seems to be forming a lower high around here, around the monthly pivot. Let's see, where should we target? Yeah, I mean, we could find some support around 0.382, weekly S3, monthly a yearly R1 we could. I'm not a fan of using resistance as support, but yeah, I mean, this zone could be good for short-term bounce, but I'm expecting us to probably head lower. Golden pocket will probably be better to use as support. Silver's been very interesting. I went over this last week. I put a post in team charts about this zone here, about the 0.32 golden pocket, yearly R1. Very strong zone. And look what happened. Rejected perfectly off this zone. We had our 4-hour bearish divergence into here. And then broke out of this channel, retested it. Now we're continuing lower. My first place I'll be looking, well, of course we bounced off 0.382. I mean, it is expected because, well, it's a weekly S1. It's a good level here. Sure, we may break out this, head higher. Sure. Or we may head lower to golden pocket, weekly S3. See what happens down here. I mean, I'm just identifying the zones, seeing what happens. And yeah, with these streams and with the charts we post, we're not always going to call the trades. I mean, it takes a long time to, write out the posts and then actually write them in time as well before, because we don't want to call trades that are too late. So for example, with this, I took it up here. By the time I wrote it, we were already down here, waited for us to go back in the zone. Didn't happen, so I didn't post a trade. But yeah, pay attention to the charts we post, because there's a lot of money to be made by looking at them. Now let's have a look. Are there any questions? Cool. How's the hype trade looking? I noticed both Smart Money Crypto and Gem Hunters community are running the same setup. Solid confidence right there. I see strong potential once we hit the second take profit. What's your take? Yeah, I'll quickly go back over that one. Yeah, I mean, we could have had our second take profit around golden pocket, weekly S2. Probably would have been a good area for our second take profit. At the same time, I'm a very patient person. I'm fine to wait it out. I'm fine. I mean, I'm a swing trader. I'm fine seeing these moves, us doing an uptrend, maybe go back down. But yeah, we hit our first take profit around here. We have our second one down here, 37. Yeah, lots of groups are calling this short, though a lot of groups called it when it was already crashing, when it was around here. I saw Gem Hunters called it around It's like 41, 42. Of course, we called it all the way up here. So, yeah, I mean, we're ahead of them, which is good. But it is always good confluence. On the hype chart, monthly pivot, yearly pivot, bottom of channel, that'd be called 3 confluences. Yes. If, of course, it is, if the channel is around there, yes. But we probably have more confluences than that because we have 0.786, 0.886 as well as confluence. So depending how things go, maybe, down here, maybe beginning of next month, end of this month, I'll be watching for probably around here. If the monthly pivot is nowhere near, then I mean it's fine. Could look at this on here. But in general, around here for now is where I'd watch for a long move back up. Given that, let's say we have a bullish divergence into the zone, actually, yeah, it'd be a pretty easy trade. So you'd have your stop loss below the lows here, like 34. Target whatever fib level it may be. Yeah. Target 0.382, golden pocket, and then yeah, higher as well. Yeah. Close my hype trade at 39. Would you recommend re-entering if we reach the 42, 43 zone? Let us have a look. You said you close at 39. Very good exit there. Very good indeed. 42, 43. Yeah, I mean, this is the first zone I'd watch. Around weekly pivot, monthly R1, around here. See how things react. Maybe you could take a short around here. I would probably take profit relatively quickly, considering it's got less confluence than I would like to see for a swing trade. But yeah, I mean, let's say it rejects here. Maybe have your first take profit around 41. But I wouldn't rush into any trade with this at the moment. With hype, it is very, how do I put it? It's very stubborn. As in, it loves to just do its own thing. It will keep on going higher whilst the whole market's crashing. It will dump for no reason when the whole market pumps. It's difficult to trade. That's why I say it's difficult to trade. It's one of the main tokens I trade. But finding big resistance zones, then treating them as swing trades, is better than doing like scalping, let's say, or intraday trading on hype. But yeah, I mean, you could look for reaction in this zone here. Yeah, there's nothing at the moment. I mean, 30-minute bearish divergence into 0.32. That played out already. So, yeah, I mean, maybe we see a 1 hour bearish divergence into one of these zones. Yeah, you could take a short. Zach. Sure. Zcash, here we go. Right. Yeah. Zek is another one of those which is very weird. It just does his own thing. For Zek, I mean, there's no clear channels I can see. I was expecting maybe, well, I would be looking at this zone here. if it made a bearish divergence into here, but we never went that high, so maybe on the weekly, no. Yeah, I mean, it kind of bounced 0.32, not really. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to look at for ZEC, to be honest. I mean, you could look at Golden Pocket, see how it reacts, but yeah, there's no trade I would take here until maybe something around yearly S1 or around 0.382 or yearly pivot, maybe around here. Until then, it's just kind of ranging. Would you look at Aero, please? Sure. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So we are reaching top of this channel. It's interesting, actually. Let's clean this up a bit so it's easier to see. The first things I like to start with when looking at tokens are the channels. So I like to clear the charts up a bit. But yeah, we have two different channels. We have this channel from this breakout structure. Then we have this weekly larger channel for the whole structure. Don't know why there's no... Oh no, that's when it was launched. I thought it was launched earlier than that. I thought it was 2023. Yeah, we're reaching top of this channel. So if there's confluence with a fib level, which I guess would be, yeah, that'd be the low. Or you treat it as this structure. Find the low here, which is either there or yeah, it might be here. That's still up there. Yeah, I'll be watching this larger channel. So you see here how it aligns with that. So if we have some move up here, yeah, I'd look for a short. Also yearly pivot. Huh. Yeah. Which also coincides with this 0.382. So this one debatably already played out. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I'll save this one. Put an alert there. Could see a move up there. See a breakout of this channel. Retest. Before heading up here. Rejecting. Back down. Yeah. Does look good. Are we still in a macro downtrend and CT is just bull posting, or do you see a new bull run starting to form? It's a good question. I'm under the impression that we will not see a new bull run start just yet. I know, actually, I'm close with a few people who are very good at trading, who believe we will start a new bull run, but I'm looking at it more like 2019, which I don't have the start of it on this one. But yeah, like kind of, if you were in crypto in 2019 or you looked at it in the past, we see how we had a sort of fake out. We had a mini bull run. Everyone thought, oh yeah, we're gonna go so much higher. And then we had a massive drop into the 2020 March low when COVID happened. But I think we're going to have probably a similar thing, considering 2019 and this top, we had no euphoria at all. So there are several similarities. But yeah, we have shifted structure. we are in a weekly, well, yeah, we are in a weekly downtrend, but we have broken out of this channel until we start making higher highs. So let's say we have a weekly close above 94k. Then I'd start to say, yeah, we're probably going higher. But then another thing people like to look at is the 25-week SMA. I'm not really a fan of SMAs, but a lot of people use this as the sort of bull market indicator. Make it yellow. There we go. Yeah. So a lot of people are saying if we close above here, then we have a new bull market and we're going to go so much higher. I don't think that's going to happen. But you see here, we're kind of projecting off of it. There's lots of things you can look at. I'm just setting out the levels, seeing what happens. So yeah, I mean, this zone here is where I'm watching this 83 to 85k. Thank you. Yeah, no worries. If you were to short Bitcoin at 81k in future, what price zone should be targeting? That's a good question. Let's see. So let's just get rid of that. Yeah, if I was gonna short at 81k, so like let's say this zone here, I would be, let's see. I mean, I like to project the fibs. So yeah, I mean, if I project it like this, say we reach there, then 0.382 bottom of channel, that'd be a good level to take profit. But I would want to take profit before that. So maybe this channel midline, take some profit. Actually, yeah, look at the fib from here. Yeah, probably this 0.382, then this 0.382, and then maybe have a more optimistic target lower. Because we could front run this zone here. Everyone's watching this zone, so yeah, we may top out around here. But the difficult thing with shorting this zone is where would you place your stop loss? Because the only logical place would be around or above this zone here. So maybe treating all of this as one big zone for short would be a better idea. But that's a 5% zone. It's very big. I'll probably scale down to lower time frames, see how it is reacting, and then make my decision from there. 83 to 85k zone, if it dances in there for a minute, higher or lower, or is that an unanswerable question, because that just depends on what story the price action is telling at the time. Well, it depends what you mean by dancing in there, because if we are seeing divergences and they keep on getting higher and higher, then by all means we can see, then yeah, I mean, we'll probably reject in that zone. If we're seeing no divergences and it's just bouncing around, maybe RSI resets a bit, then it'll probably go higher. But it's like, yeah, I mean, if we take hype as an example around here, I presume you would consider this dancing around. But actually, I know quite a few people hesitant about the short because they're saying, oh, price is still in this zone, looks to be going higher. Well, we still had our divergences, this here is pretty much the same. So we'll call this a 3 drive divergence in this zone before rejecting lower. See? This 3 drive here on the 4 hour. See, if we see something like this, probably reject down. ETH BTC is always interesting to look at, though it does seem to be crashing at the moment. It'd be interesting if we close below the zone, because then we'll probably see a bounce off weekly S3, monthly S1 for retesting around maybe monthly pivot for heading lower. So we'd see Bitcoin outperform ETH and then eventually probably switch. But ETH BTC, I would recommend looking at it. It does paint the picture a lot, especially with Bitcoin heading higher. So it'll probably, we may see Bitcoin head into this zone around here, whilst ETH sort of stagnates around. Then ETH outperforms massively, finds one of these 2 zones. Gotta drop my watch recording. Thank you for your time and knowledge share. Estradamus. I love this nickname. Gotta go as well. Appreciate it. Of course. Well, if there's no more questions, I think that will be it for today. Okay, one last question. What trades do you keep on your radar for the future? Any particular ones standing out aside from the silver trade I mentioned today? Well, yeah, I mean, I went over them earlier. I look for key zones and then see how they react. So, I mean, Tau is one I'm still very much looking at. I want to see how it reacts around this zone here. Though it is looking very choppy, so I'm a bit hesitant about that one. But yeah, Bitcoin, I do want to catch along somewhere, but the question is, where would you catch it? This one's difficult, because I was looking at this golden pocket here. We wicked into it, bounced up. This zone here is where I would probably take a long. Channel midline, then different fibs as confluence. But yeah, it's just playing these level by level, marking out the zones, and then seeing if we get the reactions we want into them. But yeah, this one as well, Aero, looks very good. I'm very glad that someone brought this up. Cool. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you've all learned something. And yeah, make sure to look at team charts for all of the charts that we post in there, because very useful information. There's lots of money to be made, even if we don't call the trades. And plus, it's very good to learn from them, because you can see how we trade and then take pieces of our trading or just copy us and then form your own trading strategy. But yeah, I hope all of you have an amazing day and take care. Bye.